Hello, welcome back to Excel Updates from Career Skills Services. Today's lesson, we'll be looking at macro, how to use macro, the macro features of Microsoft Excel, the watch window, the data validation, and how to build an interactive Excel dashboard. So today's lesson, as we are going to look at macro. First and foremost, what is macro? Macro is used in recording keystrokes or actions that is performed in Microsoft Excel, especially when you're carrying out some actions in Microsoft Excel that takes a lot of time to build, especially when building models. Models that takes a lot of time to build, it is better it's being recorded using the macro. Then after using the macro, we can now modify the model. But first and foremost, before you start using the macro features of Microsoft Excel, you have to do the macro setting. During the macro setting, you have to set the macro setting. Once the macro setting is set, you don't need to set the macro setting all over again each time you want to do. Then you want to use the macro function of Microsoft Excel. You set the macro setting once. Now, in order to set the macro setting, the first step is to go to the File menu. You click Option, then this brings out the Excel option dialog box. Then you go to Trust Center. Then you go to Trust Center setting. Now in the Trust Center setting, you go to macro. Now you can see various options in the macro setting in the Trust Center dialog box. Now you can see on this part of the Trust Center dialog box, the right part of it, you can see the first disable all macro without notification. Now, because macro contains some codes that could be harmful to your computer system, so therefore, while using the macro, it is advisable you do the setting in order not to affect, for it not have effect on other file, for it not to affect other file in your computer system. Now you can see disable all macro without notification. That is, Excel is not going to notify you before disabling a macro. Now disable all macro with notification. So this is before Excel will disable any macro. Excel has to notify you first. When Excel notifies you, it has to bring out this message bar. Now the next is enable all macro. Now, not recommended. Potentially dangerous code can be run, especially when you are on the internet system. When you want to download the file from the internet system, if the file, peradventure the file contains macro, and you happen to download the file, if this option is being clicked or is being chosen on your computer system, such kind of file might be dangerous to your computer. Rather, such kind of file can harm your computer system. Now, you can also click this Trust Access to Visual Basic Project Object Model. Now, after having done that, we can also go to the message bar. Excel will always bring out a message. If you instruct Excel to notify you before disable any macro, Excel is going to bring out the message. Now show the message bar in all applications when active content such as active Excel control and macro has been blocked. Never show information about the blocked content. Now, if you don't want Excel to show you any information, Excel is not going to do that. Then we can look at file blocking setting. You can see some file blocking setting that Excel has put on. For each file, you can select open and close checkbox by selecting open and close. Open Excel blocks this file type or open it in protected view. That is whenever you want to open any file in, for instance, Excel 4 workbook, when open the end of this file that contains macro, Excel is going to block the file or Excel is going to open the file in the protected format. So it will not have effect on your computer system. You can go through the rest. So now, having done that, we click on OK. Now we can now build a macro. Now if you want to build a macro system, I want to build a macro system. We could decide to have a new worksheet. Now before you start building a macro system, well, first and foremost, well, first of all, the macro could also be accessed through the view menu. When you go to the view menu, you go to the macro, you can see, you can make use of any this option to record your macro. Alternatively, the macro option can also be found in the developer menu of Microsoft Excel. As you can see, I don't have the developer menu, the developer menu of Microsoft Excel. Now, for me to get the developer menu of Microsoft Excel, all I need to do is go to File menu. I go to Option. I go to Customize Ribbon. When I get to Customize Ribbon, I click on this and I click on OK. The moment I click on OK, it brings out the developer menu. When I click on the developer menu, you go to the code group. You can see the macro functions of Microsoft Excel. You can use this to run your macro. Also, you can access the developer menu by right clicking on this part of the Microsoft Excel screen, and you go to Customize Quick Access Toolbar, customize the ribbon. This is what we are going to, so we could also access this Excel option screen through that way. Now I want to build my macro. Before you start building your macro, your first step you need to do is to click on Record Macro. Now click on Record Macro. Then when you record macro, the next thing you need to do, you have to give your macro a name. So let's give this a macro a name. Let's call it future amount. Let's call this future amount. Now this is the record macro dialog box. We give a macro a name. Make sure that there is no space in between the name. If you are using 2 words or more than 2 words in your macro, if you want to put the space in between, you rather use an underscore to put the space there, because the moment you put it this way and you put the space and you click on OK, it is going to give you an error message telling you you can save using that particular format. So if I want to put the space in between, all I need to do is to put user underscore. Then now you need to give your macro a shortcut key. For instance, if I want to run my macro, I can use a shortcut key. Now that is Control plus a particular key, that when you click on the key, it will actually run the macro. Now when you're using a shortcut key, you have to be very, very careful. Now I want to use Control plus T. Now I'm using T. Why? You use Control plus C. Now Control plus C, these are shortcut keys in Microsoft Excel. Control C is copy. So I use something like Control C or Control V, which is paste. It will have effects with the function of Microsoft Excel. Then your macro will not be able to run. So you make use of the letter of the keyboard that is not related to Microsoft Excel shortcut key. So you make use of the shortcut key that's not related to that Microsoft Excel. Now when you want to save your macro, now macro are normally saved in what we call the personal macro workbook. You could decide to save your macro in this workbook, and let's say this workbook. Now I decide to save my macro on this workbook. Now you save your macro on this workbook, but macro are not normally saved in this particular workbook. We want to save a macro, we save a macro using the personal macro workbook. Okay, yes, this is personal macro workbook. Then you give a description to your macro. Now what is your macro all about? For instance, my own macro is finding the future value of a certain amount of money from them. Okay, this description is optional. I might decide not to put the description, I might decide to put it. So it's optional. When you're done, you click on OK to continue. Let's go through it again. Let's call this present. Let's call this present amount. Let's go through it again. Ctrl T. Okay, let's save it in this workbook. I told you that this is optional, so we can click on OK. Now Excel start recording the macro. Now I can say I can call this let me just do a simple example. So let's call this the number of years and the interest rate of 10%. Now we're interested in looking for the future value of this amount of money. Now we are interested in looking for the future value of this amount of money. Now the future value equals to this times, okay, we go 1 plus the interest rate raised to the power of 10. Now, so the future value of this amount of money will give us 259,374. Let's quickly format that. If you want to put the decimal, you can put the decimal. So that will give us 259,374.25 kobo. That's the future value of the amount. So, but once you're done, you can click on. Once you're done, you can click on Stop Macro, and Excel stops recording the macro. So now you can see the type of macro setting I use. I make it of use relative reference. Now using relative reference macro, I'm going to explain that in a second. Let me stop macro now. Excel has stopped recording the macro now. So if I want to run the macro, let's assume in the future I want to run this particular macro. All I need to do, let me delete this. Now I want to run this macro. And remember, I started running the macro from this point. Now if I should click this point and I go to record the macro, and I want to get my macro, I want to run the macro. This is my macro present amount, and this brings out the macro dialog box. Now we can do a lot of things here. Click on run. When I click on run, Excel is giving me an error message. I don't want to go to the Visual Basic aspect of this. Let's go macro on this workbook. Let's click on run. Excel is giving me an error message. I don't want us to really go much into that. Okay, now you can see that the macro, Excel brings out the macro. Also, if I can also run the macro by going to the view menu, click on this, and I click on view macro. This is my macro, and I click on run macro. Excel runs the macro. Now you can see the position in which Excel is running the macro. I recorded the macro using this part, but now Excel brings the macro here. Now why is Excel giving me here? Now if I should click this part and I run the macro, you can see where I click, that is where Excel starts the macro. So if I should happen to click here and run the macro is going to be displayed around this area. Why? Because while running the macro, this option was active, use relative reference. So Excel will run the macro relative to the position of the cell that is active. So now if, for instance, so this is what we call the relative macro reference type. Now I've deactivated that particular option. Now if I want to run the macro, another macro, let's assume I want to run another macro. Let's call this present amount. Okay, let's call this Control G. So the description. Okay, let's click on OK. Now I want to run this. Now I'm going to start the same place. I'm going to start, and let's call this fund amount. Okay, let's call this number of years, and let's call this the interest rate, just to differentiate it with the other one, and let's call this future amount. Okay, just to differentiate it from the other one. They are similar example, but just to differentiate from the other one, let's call this 80,000. The number of years, let's make this 8 years. The interest rate, let's make it 80 years as well, and the future amount. So type equals to click. That's the value for looking for the future amount. Now we can see that. So we can now stop recording the macro. Now when we click stop recording macro, we can delete this. Now if I want to run the macro now, this is the active cell. I go to the active cell, I go to macro. When I go to macro, this is the macro I just created now. This is particular macro I just created now. So I want to run this particular macro, I click on run. You can see Excel bringing the macro back to where I started typing. So this type of macro style is called the absolute macro. Why the other part? Why? Because Excel brought it here. Why? Because I didn't click on this particular option, use the relative reference macro style. Now this other macro that came, this other part of the Excel screen that came up is called the visual basic aspect of Excel. Now this was the first one I did. Now if I want to see the other macro I just did, now this particular macro, if I want to see the programming aspect of it, that's the visual basic aspect of it, all I need to do is to click on visual basic. Now remember, I recorded on this workbook. That was what I recorded macro in on this workbook. So you can see the macro here. This is the macro. You can see the 80,000 naira, 8 years, 8%. So this is the workbook. Now you can see that. So this is the workbook. So this is the second macro I just ran. So I can equally run the macro from this visual basic aspect of Microsoft Excel by clicking on run. And when we go to Excel, you can see Excel has already run that. Okay, now having done that, the macros, so also look at the macro security. We've touched this macro security that I've just explained, this macro security. So we can also get to this part of the dialog box by coming to the developer menu and clicking on the macro security. So that is that. Now I can also run my macro. Remember, the first shortcut key we used was Ctrl T. So press on the Ctrl key of your keyboard, press and hold it down, and press T. Excel runs the macro. Do you see where? Okay, let me delete this. I'm going to click on this. Remember, the first macro we ran, we make use of Ctrl plus T. So press on the Ctrl of your keyboard, Ctrl key of your keyboard, and press T. Excel brings out the macro. So this was a macro we recorded using this reference, relative reference functions of Microsoft Excel. Then the other one was Ctrl G. So let's click on Ctrl G. Ctrl, press down the Ctrl key of your keyboard and press G. This brings out the second macro. That's how to use the shortcut key in running macro. Also, you can also use attach things to your macro. For instance, I can decide to attach this button, form button. I can decide to attach a form button to my macro. Now I have this. I could have this. Now the development I have this assign macro. Now which macro I want to assign? Let me assign the first macro, and I need to click OK. This is assign macro dialog box, and where is the macro in this workbook? Remember, we chose this workbook. So and then click on OK. Then when we click on OK, we can what is the name of this macro? We can delete that, and we call that. Click on this, you can see it will run the macro. So we can delete this. When you click on it, it runs the macro. That's what about. Also, we can also use the we can also go to insert menu, and we can use a shape in running a macro. For instance, I could decide to click on this, and I decide to draw a particular shape so that I can use in running the macro. So when I click on this particular shape, you can design the shape if you want to. You can give the shape any design of your choice, and we can decide to, let's right click this and let's click on text. Let's talk on present. Let's call that. So I will click on OK. So we can add a lot of things to this You can add shape to it. Oh my god. Then after that, we can right click and we assign a macro to that. Let's assign the other macro to this and click on OK. But when we click on it, anytime you click on this, it brings out the macro. You can also run your macro using the macro button, or you can run the macro using a shape in running the macro. I'm going to show you about using the macro, and we'll look at the Visual Basic aspect of it. We'll look at running the macro using the button. I'll also look at running the macro using the shape of the macro. So the next thing we're going to learn into this lesson, after the first thing we just did, macro, the next is using the watch window. Now in Exit watch window, let me wrap up what I wanted to show us a macro. When we click on this macro, bringing out this macro dialog box, we could do a lot of things there. We could delete a macro, we could edit a macro. For instance, if I decide to click this, I can click on this, I can edit the macro. So I can do one or two things here to edit the macro in the programming aspect of the macro. Now I'm going to show you something that in a second. Let's click on this. We can also delete a macro. We run a macro, we can step into a particular macro. We could do one or two things there. So there's it. So let's click on the reset button to remove that. So now we click on this. We could also delete a macro. I could decide to delete this particular macro. You can see. Do you want to delete macro? Yes. So you can see that I've actually deleted that particular macro. So when you go back to the macro, you can only see one macro. So now that is that. So let's go back to the watch window. Now going back to the watch window, click on the watch window function of Microsoft Excel. Is used to monitor the hidden parts of the Excel screen, to monitor the value of hidden cells of the Microsoft Excel screen. For instance, this is a particular data. This is an historical data. This is an historical data for a particular company, and these are financial statements for the year 2009, for the year 1999 to 2002, and we can see the bottom part of it, their financial ratio that is being performed by a financial analyst. And so if we want to see how the values of this ratio will change as a result of changing any value of the financial data, we can use the watch window to do that. For instance, we can decide to see changes in the value of decide to see changes in the value of these two cells only. Now we could decide to monitor changes in the value of both the cells. Now in order to use the watch window of Microsoft Excel, you go to the formula menu, you go to the formula auditing group and click on the watch window. Now I already have a watch window here, and the value I'm interested in, I could decide to delete what I already have here. Click on that, press on the shift key of your keyboard, press and hold it down, and press down the arrow key to highlight all the cells you want to delete. In my own case, I want to delete everything, so I finished highlight. Having done that, you click on delete watch. Now when you click on delete watch, what you need to do is to click on add watch. When you click on add watch, you select the cell you want to watch. For instance, I'm interested in watching the cells. Then you click on add. The moment you click on the add button, Microsoft Excel brings out the values of those cells. Now you can see the value of this particular cell, that is B66. You can see the value is 2.26 here, and you can see that of E66, and you can see the value 1.35. So I want to see if I change the value of this particular cell, how would it affect the value in this particular cell. Now for instance, now in calculating the earning per shares of a particular company, calculate earning per shares of a particular company is done by the net profit divided by the number of shares outstanding. You can see the average number of outstanding shares here is 48. Now and the net profit, that is B20. You can see that is the net profit. So if I want to see how changes in this particular cell the net profit, for instance, if the company should increase the value, if the net profit of the company increases, let's say it increases by 100. Now what changes will this do? Now remember, we have 2.26 in this particular cell. When I click on enter, you can see the value of the cell changes to 4.35, 4.26 and 4.61. Now this it affected the other cells. Why? Because this, in calculating the net profit, because of the formula that was used in calculating the net income or the net profit of this particular company, you can see all the cells are what affected. I don't need to start scrolling down to see if it actually have effect on this particular cells. The only cell that didn't change is this last cell, 1.35. so if I want to affect the 1.35, I want to change that, I click on plus and press enter. Now you can see the value of that changes. So if I want to see this other one, this particular cell, I want to see this particular cell, that is B67. I want to monitor the value of that cell. Let's go to a financial issue, that is B67. You can see the formula for any dividends per share. Dividend per share, the value of dividend per share, to get the formula you make use of. You get the formula, the value for dividends per share. You can see you make use of the average number of outstanding shares and the dividends per share. That's how to calculate the value for dividends per share. So the dividends, that is the dividends, the amount of money that is set out for dividends for the shareholder for that particular year, divided by the earning per share. This will give us the value of dividends per share. So now if I want to monitor that value as well, that's the dividends per share, I could just go to the dividends. Okay, let's see if the value of dividends changes from $38.3 to, let's say, 40. Now what will be the effect on this particular cell? Let's press enter. You can see the particular changes, but if it becomes, let's make it like $60, you can see the value of this particular changes. So if there's also changes now, okay, let's go back. This was what was formerly. So if we have a plus 10, okay, let's make it plus 30 and press enter. Now we can see the value of the changes. If we click on this also and make it plus 30, you can see the value of the changes. You can see the value of the cell changes. And let's see this other cell. We have 0.85 and 0.89. So if we have this also, we can see the value of the cell changes as well. You can see the value of the cell changes, and also if we do likewise here, you can see the value of the cell changes. Now if we do this as well, you can see the value of the cell changes. Now I don't need to start scrolling down to see if the changes are actually affected. So I could just simply bring the watch out window, bring out the watch window of Microsoft Excel, bring out the watch window of Microsoft Excel, bring out the function, and I can use it to monitor what the cell. This is how the watch window functions of Microsoft Excel works. So if I'm done, I can simply click on close, and done with it. That's part of the watch window. Now the other thing we need to learn today, we are looking at the data validation. Okay, using the data validation of Microsoft Excel. Now recall in our previous lesson, in our last lesson, we did a data entry form. So when you click on this, we get a data entry form. Now if I want to expand the value of this the column of this data entry form, all I need to do is to type on address. And when I type on address, so we can go to our data entry and click on it. You can see we have the address column in it. Okay, now before we go to that, using that, let's assume I want to add data. Let's assume I want to add data to this particular cell. Okay, let's make this let's click on this and let's go to data, click on data validation and click on data validation, and this being a data validation dialog box. Now in this particular cell, I want only text to appear in this particular cell. All I need to do is to click on the text length. I want text, the number of text I want to appear in that particular column should be between 1 and 3. That is the number I want to appear on that particular, the number of text. Now in this particular case, I only need a text to appear there. You click on data validation. I only need a text to appear there. Now in using data validation, we could validate for whole number, we could validate for decimal, list, date, time, text, and custom, and the rest of them. Okay, now in this particular case, I only need the text. So any value could be entered, number could enter, value could be entered. But if I only want the text length, I could also type here and type the number of text lengths. That the number of text length should be between 5 and let's say 5 and 25, and click on OK. Now this data validation, it helps you not to enter wrong data into a particular cell, or the user of the particular worksheet not to enter the wrong data into the particular cell. This is one of the very good functions of the very good function of the data validation function of Microsoft Excel. Now in this particular case, I only need date to be in that column, and the date, should I want the date to be start to or be equal to, so I could tell that the date should be greater than, or the grade shouldn't be less than. I can say the grade should be greater than, I could say the grade should be greater than. Okay, then this is order ID. Now this order ID, all I want to be in that particular cell, I only need numbers to be in that particular cell. So I only need numbers in this particular cell, all numbers. Now what should be the value of the whole number? You could see the whole number could be from 1 to, let's see, we could do that. Then this particular cell, all I need is amount. Now the data validation helps you to restrict the type of data that is being entered into a particular cell. So what I'm trying to do, I'm restricting the type of data that can be input into a particular cell in order to prevent you from making mistake, or any user of this particular file or Excel spreadsheet from inputting the wrong data. This is also another function of data validation. In this particular case, I only need amount, and that's a decimal value. I could say I need something between, the decimal value should be okay. Now this particular cell, all I need in this particular cell, since this is an address, I need any value should go in this particular cell. So now if I want to input data in this particular cell, I click on developer menu, I click on my data menu. Now the command could not be completed by using the range. Now because of we've clicked outside the range, now you can see the active cell. So that's why Microsoft Excel is giving me this error. Let me click inside with it and I click on that. Now you can see, now when you move down to the bottom, now let's click on this now. If I need a new record and I click on the country, I type UK and I click on new record. Now when I click on new record, you can see it's coming down here. But if I want to update this particular record, if I want to update this particular record here that I have here, okay, then I don't have an address here, I want to update it. I will refresh stack and I click on new. When I click on new, we can see that there. Okay, then the next one should be now. So when I click on new, this is not appearing here. Why is it not appearing? Where is it appearing? Now when you click on, you move down to, you can see where it's coming to appear. So if I want to update this particular table, what I need to do, that's this particular data entry form. If I want to update this particular data entry form, what I need to do is this. I click on the data form and I click on this and I type first tag. I press enter. When I press enter, Excel does automatically does that. The next is, let's say, Keja. Press enter key of your keyboard. Then the next, let's Gmail. Press enter key of your keyboard. The moment you press enter key of your Excel automatically updates the table. Press enter. So when you press enter, Excel automatically what updates the table. Now, if I want to go to the last record, I want to put a new record in the last record. Okay, I can come in and put UK. Now, when you click on new, now you can go down to the bottom. When you get down to the bottom, you can see the UK there. So let's delete this. Let's go back again. But if the UK, remember I restricted this particular, the kind of data that could be entered into that cell. I said the number of data that could be entered shouldn't be more than 3 data. So if, for instance, I want to make this to be room and I press enter, Microsoft Excel will give me an error message. Why? Because while I was using the data validation, I said the number of the length of data that could, the length of text that could enter in this particular column should not be more than 3. So I gave a restriction. So Excel is now abiding by that particular restriction I given. So now let's look at so let's try to enter data into that particular cell. Let's see the salesperson, let's call that King. Let's say the order date should be let's have a order number. Let's have an order amount. Then let's have an address. Okay, then what are we going to click on new record? Now I click on new record. Excel is giving me an error message here, an error message. There is an error message here. And what is the error message? Now we'll call. Let me close this. We call this particular cell, we make use of a data validation in this particular cell. We validated the data in this particular cell. Remember, we said the number of data that could enter could be 5 to 25. That is why when we use king, the number of letters in the word king is 4 letters word. So whereas in our expression we said the number of letters that could be entered in that particular column should not be less than 5. So we could simply edit this and type 2 and click OK. Then we can go back and enter the data entry form all over again. We drag down to the last and we come back to USA. Now, so that's the function of the data entering, the data validation function of Microsoft Excel. It helps you to enter the appropriate data. It helps you to enter the appropriate data. It helps you to enter the appropriate data in a particular. It helps you to enter the appropriate data in a. Helps you to enter the appropriate data in a particular. Helps you to enter the appropriate data in a particular column. So it will restrict the type of data that has been entered into a particular column. It also prevents you from making error in inputting the wrong data into a particular column. That's the function. The function of the data validation of Microsoft Excel. So now I can click on new. Now you can see Microsoft Excel entry, because why? All the criteria listed here are being fulfilled. Here's how to use the data validation. And also when you look at the data validation, we can also, let's go to the data validation. We could also say circle validation. Now when we say circle validation, you can see Microsoft Excel, none of this cell is actually circled. Okay, now Excel has circled a lot of cells here. Why is it given this that is invalidated? Now remember, why I was building my data validation, let's start from this. Excel circle this. Why is Excel circling this? Why I was doing the data validation, I included a particular column. Remember, this cell was included, and I said the data within the cell should be between 1 and 3. So that's why Excel is circling this. So that this gives us another function of the data validation function of Microsoft Excel. It helps you to pick out data. In other words, it helps you to filter data or to pick out data, selected data from all other data. So it helps you to pick out specific records among all other records. Now you can see that, because that's why Excel is giving me this particular word, error. So now what am I going to do this now? So I could simply do this and tell Excel to clear off this validation circle. I could type, will I do this? How am I going to escape this Excel not to give me error on this particular cell? It's there. So in order to escape this, what we actually need to do is that to put our validation, for we to do our validation, we have to start our validation here. First and foremost, we need to remove this validation in this particular. We need to remove clear all validation. Now, so if I want to do the data validation, this is what I actually need to do. Then I click on that data validation, then I can put the validation between 1 and 3. So this how, so that will prevent what the error message we're having. So that's how I can do it to the rest of it. So if you want to put your data validation, you exclude the column heading of your particular cell, of the particular column, before you you put the data validation. So now let me delete all the validation I put on this. Now to remove the validation, you need to click on data validation and you click on clear validation. But when you clear the validation, you click on OK. You do likewise here. You click on clear validation. Then when you click on clear validation, you click on OK. Then when you do that, you can enter any data in this particular cell with Excel without Excel preventing you from entering a particular data in those cell. Now you can see I've done that. So you can see in this particular cell now, I've removed the data validation on this for all the old cells. I've removed the data. Let me remove the data for this particular cell. Now I've removed the data validation we have. Here is any value. Okay, now I've removed data validation on these cells. So you can see this particular cell, I could even enter one and press enter without either giving me an error message. Okay, now if I want to select some particular data, so let's assume I'm interested in getting data. Let's assume I want to pick amounts that are outside this range. Now I want amount that is outside this range. Now one amount that is outside this range. So I'm interested to get an amount that is outside this range. So I click on circle invalid data. So these are values that are outside the particular range that I gave to Microsoft Excel. So these are the values that are outside that particular range. Also, we could use the data validation for instance. I could have a product here. Here's a product. I could put a data validation and tell Excel I need number between 10 and 20. So every number that is less than 10 and every number above 10, every number that is less than 10 and every number that is above 20, Excel is going to select those data. And you can see these are numbers that are above 20. So Excel selected this data. So this represents an what? Invalid data. In other words, I only wanted to pick details of those products that are not within the range of 10 and 20. I'm only interested to get products that are outside the range of 10 and 20, between 10 and 20. So I make use of Excel data validation tools of Microsoft Excel in doing that. Now in applying vector data validation, you can also input a message for Excel. For instance, now let me remove the data validation here. Let me like this and let me put data validation. Okay, so let me say the value should be between 10 and 40. Okay, remember I stopped at 21. So when I click OK, now the moment I type 50 here, Excel gives me the error message. Now you can see Excel tells me that the value you enter is not what valid. Now I want Excel to change this particular value. What am I going to do? So I lighted this, I stopped here, I go back to the data validation, click on data validation. I get the data validation. In this particular case, input message. Now this is optional. I could write a title here, I could write a message here, is optional, but here I can change the message. I can give it invalid number Now, what error message do I want? Do I want Excel to put stop? I want Excel to put warning. Or let me put Excel put information. Only numbers between 10 and 40 are required. I want Excel to give me that each time. So let's try it a little through 50. Press enter. But when I press enter, you can see Excel gives you okay, only numbers between 10 and 40 are what required. So I say okay. So Excel has given me the information, the restriction that is placed on that particular cell, on that particular column, that only numbers between 10 and 40 are only required to be in that particular cell. So this is how the data validation functions of Microsoft Excel works. So we could quickly look at interactive Excel dashboard. So let's quickly look at that, the interactive Excel dashboard. Let's look at the interactive Excel dashboard. Okay, let me simply delete these clear validation circles. Now, in using the interactive Excel circle, let me delete this. I don't need it. Okay, now I want to make use of this. Now let's re-up this now. We want to use this to create a pivot table. Now for we to create an interactive, now what we want to do, we want to create an interactive Excel dashboard. Now for we to create an interactive Excel dashboard, we are going to make use of the pivot function of Microsoft Excel. In using the pivot function of Microsoft Excel to do this, first and foremost, we have to create a pivot table. Now, when I create a pivot table, you'll click on any part of the data. While creating a pivot table, make sure that your table have headings and there is nothing along this part of the cell, and there is nothing also, there is no heading at the side. In other words, creating a pivot table, I already have heading here. I don't need to have a row heading here. You need to only have a column heading in creating a pivot table in Microsoft Excel. Click on the insert menu, click on the pivot table. Now click on the pivot table. Excel is going to bring out the create pivot table dialog box, and Excel is going to select the range of data. You scroll down to ensure Excel has selected the correct data. Now Excel could ask you, do you want to use an external sub? I'm not using an external, so where do you want to place this pivot table? Do you want to use a new Excel spreadsheet in creating it, or you want to use an existing Excel spreadsheet? So I need a new Excel spreadsheet, so I click on OK. When I click on OK, Excel brings out the, takes me to a new Excel spreadsheet. Now what type of pivot table I want to create? Now this is the type of pivot table I want to create. This is what we want to create. Now I want to create a pivot table where I will have the salesperson here, and I will have the country column, the sales on the row. This is the first pivot table we are going to create. So first and foremost, in creating a pivot table, you need to have, in creating the pivot table, you'll need to have the pivot table you want to create. You have to have it, the image of the pivot table in your head. For instance, I've already created this particular, this is the type of table I want to create. This is the kind of pivot table I want to create. So I already have the image, the format which the table is going to take. So the salesperson will be along the row, while the country will be along the column. So I go to my data. Now this is the country. I want the country to be along the column. I click on that. So if the country should be along the row, I click on that. Why the salesperson? Now when you go to our data, this is our data. Sorry, this is our data. Now when you go to our data, you can see this data represent different types of cars that were sold in UK and US. We have the Suyama, we have the Pickup, we have the Dogsworth, we have the Lepre, we have the Buccaneer. These are various salesperson that sells this car. This represents salesperson, and these are the order dates, and these are the order ID and the order what amount of money. So I want the salesperson to be along the road. I want the country to be along the column, because I want to see in UK the salesperson and US number of salesperson. So this is where my pivot table comes in now. So this, remember, we've changed the data here. So what I'm going to do, let me refresh my pivot table. Now the salesperson is up here now. So I want it to be along the column. Now we can see the different salesperson that deals in different kind of cars. Now, having done that, the next thing, when you go to our table here, we can see we have the numbers. So I want to see the various So now we need the amount to slot in there, so we can see the total amount of cars. For instance, now in UK, a person dealing in a car called King, the total amount of cars this particular person has in stock is about 116,962,99 kobo. So I could remove the grand total there. I could tell Excel off the row and column total is off. So next step I want to create is this. Sales, I want to create this. Now I want to see the salesperson and the total amount. I don't want to see the country involved. So I want Excel to match that of UK and that of US together. I'm just only interested in the salesperson and to see the total worth of cars the person have in stock, both in UK and in US. So I want to create this type of car. You can see the salesperson is along the row, while the amount is along the column. So that's how to use Excel. That's how to build a data table using that's how to build a pivot table using Microsoft Excel. Now for me to do that, let me get my data. This is my data. I go back to my data, I go to insert menu and I click on pivot table. Now I go to new spreadsheet. Now Excel has done that. Now this is the first pivot table I created. I could easily call this, let's call country total. Then this is a new pivot table I want to create. Let's rename this and let's call it the sales person total. Now recall why we want to create this. We need the salesperson to be along the row and the other amounts to be along the column. So let me put this here. So now click on this. The salesperson should be along the row and the other amount. Okay. Sorry, the other amount should be along the value. So that is that. Then we want to create another data table. Now recall my data table, data entry 2. So I want to create this last table here. I want to create this last table. I want to see the country and the order amount, the total amount that is being ordered here. Now for instance, I have this. Yeah, I want to see the total amount of order for UK in respective of the salesperson and that of US in respective of the salesperson. So I have to go back to my same data. I go back to the same data. I click on insert and I click on pivot table and I go to new spreadsheet. So I can call this this should be country total. So we have to rename this. Yes, we get give this a name. Let's call that order amount. Okay, and we have the country total. Let me take this to the side. So these are the pivot table I'm creating. So those are the pivot table I'm creating. So I click on this to activate the pivot table panel. Now I need the sales, the country to be along the row, and I need the total amount. So now I've done that. Now the next thing I'm going to do now, I want to now create my dashboard. What is dashboard? Dashboard display various information about your data. It reviews various details about your data, a summary of your data about your data. That's what dashboard does. It gives you different kinds of information about your data. That is what dashboard does. Now I want to create a dashboard in Microsoft Excel. So in order to create a dashboard, let me start from this last. Let's create let's go to the option. We're going to create a chart with this. Let's assume I need a pie chart. Click on OK. Now I've gotten a pie chart with that. Let me click on this, press Ctrl X to cut, or you can press Ctrl C to copy if you want. I want to cut, Ctrl X to cut. Now let me have a new Excel spreadsheet. Now let me take this to okay. Let me rename this. Let me call it a dashboard. Okay. Now let me paste. Okay. Let's go to the next. The next order amount. So I can go to option and I click on the pivot chart. I want this to be that. That's what I actually want. So I have this. I could also press Ctrl X to cut, or I go to where my dashboard is and I paste it here. Okay, I've got into. Now you can see the different salesperson. You can see in UK, you can see in US, we have how many salesperson? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 different salesperson, and we can see the amount for each of this particular salesperson for each of them. So now let's go to the last order amount. Let's go to the other salesperson. Let's go to option and click on this. Now I still need a column chart. I want to make that a column chart. Ctrl X to cut and go to my dashboard and let me paste it here. Okay. So press down the shift key of your keyboard and select all. Let me reduce this a bit. Okay, now having done that, so I can see my this now. So having done the next thing we're going to add a slider. So let's try to add a slider in okay, let's go to the analysis, then we click on insert slider. So let me select one. Let me select the first one and click on insert slider. Now you can see on insert slider here, I'm only interested in country, and that's the main. So this slider is for this. So you can see when I click on US, only that of US appears. When I click on UK, only that of UK appears. When I select it, it appears. Okay, that is that for that. So click on this and I want to insert a slider. Okay, now in this particular case, I also have US and I have UK. That's what I'm interested in. I click on OK, and this US and this UK. Now when I click on this, see only US appears. When I click on UK, only the data for UK appears. The previous sellers for US appears. So I click on this to clear the selection. Now you can see once I click on this, only this is affected. Whereas I have US, I have UK here. It's not affecting it, but we are going to link the data together. Now let me quickly create a dashboard for that, a slider for this particular. So now in this particular case, I'm interested in the salesperson and click on that. So I have that now. Okay, now you can now see the slider now. So when I click on this, it only reveals data for this particular salesperson. So I could also click here and select all. It gives me that of all salesperson. I could also click here and select country. Because now when you see when I click on this, to only affect that, these are not affected. So what I want to connect everything. Now to connect your sliders together, you go to analysis and then you click on it. So you can click select. You can click slider connection, or alternatively you click on any of the slider and right click, and you can connect your slider. Right click and slider setting. Sorry, I don't want to set the slider now. Pivot table connection. Now I have a pivot table connection. Now you can see this sheet. Now you can see pivot table 3, country total 2, and salesperson. I want to connect the pivot table together. Now order amount, country 2 total, and the salesperson. I want to connect the pivot table together. Now you can see these are the names I used for each of the pivot table I created: the country total 2, salesperson, and order amount. So I've connected it and I click on OK. Now you can see that's for this. So the moment I click on this now, you can see that. So now let me right click this, pivot table connection. Okay, now when you click on this, now when I click on US now, you can see everything is being affected. This is affected, this is affected. When I click on UK, you can see only UK appears, only US appears, only US appears here, and also it affects the data here. You can see. So when I click on US, it only give me that of US. data here. Only US appears, only US appear. I want UK, only UK appears. Now you see some part of this data are not appearing. So some part are not appearing. So some salesperson that are not in US, some salesperson that are not in UK appears. Only those salesperson that are in US appears. US appears. Okay, now let's clear up this. Now we can click on Kane. So this is how to connect this is how to connect this is how to build your interactive dashboard in Microsoft Excel. Let me connect this here. I want to be sure everything is connected now here. So when I click on UK, you can see only that of US appears now. UK, only that of UK appears. Everything is affected. Appears. When I click cancel, everything comes up. So this is how to create your interactive Microsoft Excel dashboard. So this is that for how to create your dashboard in Microsoft Excel. If you love our video, remember to subscribe at our YouTube channel so you can get an update of our video. Go to our YouTube channel. You can simply see our YouTube channel here. All you need to do is to click on the subscribe button. When you click on the subscribe button, Microsoft Excel to open the new dashboard and you click on subscribe. Now to subscribe, Microsoft Excel is going to say you need to sign in to subscribe. When you click in sign in, you're putting your email address and you sign in. That means you've subscribed for our video, that you'll be getting the updates of our video each time we post a video on YouTube. Or alternatively, you can go to our email address. You can follow us by mail. Click here and type in your email address and click on get notification. For instance, you can type in an email address here. And I click on get notification. When I click on that, Microsoft is bring out the banner dialog box. All I need to do, I can click on complete restriction. But Microsoft about this, I'm not a robot. Once you are done, you click on complete subscription. The moment I'm done with all this, Microsoft Excel verifies that you are not a robot. Once Microsoft Excel verifies that you are not a robot, you'll click on complete subscription. Then you will be getting regular updates of our video. Now you can see this particular person is already subscribed to our mailing list. So that is another way you can subscribe to our video to be getting monthly updates from us. Respondents, what is that particular problem in Microsoft Excel you're finding it difficult to do? Just send the problem to me and I'll try to include it in my next video. When you go to this, you click on the contact, put your name, put your email address, you'll type in your email address. Once you put in your email address, you type in the problem you're having, finding it difficult to perform Microsoft Excel, and you send. I'm going to get the message. In my next video, I'm going to try to include that into my next video. So thanks for watching.